In the dead of night. The thieves broke in the dead of night. He left the town in the dead of night to avoid attention. The streets are empty in the dead of night. In the distance, you could see the beautiful mountainous landscape in the distance. I heard a sound in the distance and went to check what it was. There was a flicker of light in the distance. In the doghouse. After forgetting her birthday, he was definitely in the doghouse. I've been in the doghouse ever since I dented the car. He's going to be in the doghouse if he comes home late again. In the driver's seat. With the new contract, we're now in the driver's seat. Taking control of the budget put the politician in the driver's seat. He feels in the driver's seat now that he's been promoted. In the event of a fire, please exit the building calmly. In the event of rain, the ceremony will be moved indoors. Insurance can provide coverage in the event of an accident. In the final analysis. In the final analysis, it's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. You might disagree, but in the final analysis, I believe this plan will benefit everyone. In the final analysis, her decision was based on her intuition. In the flesh. It was amazing to see the celebrity in the flesh. I've read all his books, but now I will meet the writer in the flesh. The painting looks even better in the flesh than it does in the pictures in the catalogue. In the grand scheme of things. Sometimes you have to step back and see that in the grand scheme of things, this problem is not as significant as it initially seemed. Losing one game is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, missing the train today could be a blessing in disguise. In the heat of battle. Soldiers often have to make split-second decisions in the heat of battle. Mistakes were made in the heat of battle, but we learned from them. In the heat of battle, he showed true leadership. In the heat of the moment. In the heat of the moment, I said something I later regretted. Things said in the heat of the moment can be forgiven. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to make promises you can't keep. In the interest of. In the interest of our precious time, let's move on to the next topic. The meeting was postponed in the interest of everyone's safety. The decisions were made in the interest of the greater good. In the lap of luxury. He's been living in the lap of luxury since he won the lottery and gained lots of money last year. The hotel really pampered us, and we felt like we were in the lap of luxury. After years of hard work, she's now retired and living in the lap of luxury. In the limelight. After her latest movie, the actress is really in the limelight. Believe me, being in the limelight isn't always a pleasant experience. Young pop stars often struggle with being in the limelight at a young age. In the line of duty. He was injured in the line of duty. Many soldiers make the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Benefits are provided for those who were injured in the line of duty. In the line of fire. Reporters often put themselves in the line of fire to bring us the news. During the protest, the activists were directly in the line of fire. To be a leader often means you're in the line of fire when things go wrong. In the long run. It may be hard now, but in the long run, this will be beneficial. Investing in education pays off in the long run. In the long run, healthier habits can improve your quality of life. In the long term, we need to think about the environmental impact in the long term. In the long term, the strategy will lead to significant changes. This investment might not pay off immediately, but in the long term, it seems sound and should let us make some profit. In the loop. It's really important to assign the roles and keep all team members in the loop during the project. I felt completely out of touch because I wasn't kept in the loop. Make sure to keep your supervisor in the loop about your progress. In the meantime, we are waiting for the results. In the meantime, let's continue working. The main event starts at 7 p.m. In the meantime, there are refreshments in the lobby. They'll get back to us with a decision. In the meantime, we shouldn't just wait unproductively. In the middle of. He left in the middle of the meeting, which was quite rude. Our house is in the middle of the renovation, so it's a bit chaotic at the moment. I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep. In the middle of nowhere. Their farmhouse is in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by fields. We ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful retreat, but it's really in the middle of nowhere. In the mood for. I'm really in the mood for pizza tonight. Are you in the mood for a walk or would you rather watch a movie? She wasn't in the mood for jokes after the long meeting. In the nick of time. He finished the test in the nick of time. The ambulance arrived in the nick of time. We got to the airport in the nick of time to catch our flight. In the pipeline. There are several new products in the pipeline for next year. The company announced that there is a major project in the pipeline. We have plans in the pipeline that will excite our customers. In the presence of. He was awarded the medal in the presence of the entire squad. It's an honor to be here in the presence of such esteemed guests. They signed the agreement in the presence of a notary. In the red. Unfortunately, the company's accounts are in the red this quarter. After several bad investments, his personal finances were in the red. I need to budget better, my bank account is always in the red. In the right place at the right time. She got the job because she was in the right place at the right time. The photographer was in the right place at the right time to capture the shot. They say success is about being in the right place at the right time. In the same boat. We're all in the same boat when it comes to the new regulations. Don't worry, you're not alone, we're in the same boat. Since the budget cuts, all departments have been in the same boat. In the spotlight. The actress was in the spotlight for her award-winning performance. Obviously, the politician found himself in the spotlight, but it wasn't what he had wanted. Being in the spotlight can be very stressful for young performers and may lead to a nervous breakdown. In the thick of it. We were in the thick of it during the festival, enjoying the hustle and bustle. As a reporter, he is always in the thick of it. The soldiers were in the thick of it, fighting bravely. In the vicinity. There are several restaurants in the vicinity of the hotel. We heard a loud noise in the vicinity but couldn't tell where it was coming from. Police are asking if anyone was in the vicinity of the park last night. In the wake of. In the wake of the economic downturn, many businesses closed. The new legislation comes in the wake of recent health scares. In the wake of the storm, the community banded together to rebuild the destroyed buildings. In the wrong. He apologized for being in the wrong. You can't always assume you're in the wrong just because someone is upset with you. She was in the wrong, and it took her a while to admit it. In touch with. He stays in touch with current events by reading the newspaper every morning. It's important for politicians to be in touch with the needs of their constituents. To stay in touch with our customers, we conduct regular surveys. In vain. They searched for the lost dog, but all in vain. We tried in vain to reach an agreement. The efforts to convince her were all in vain. In your best interest. It's in your best interest to start saving money now. The lawyer advised him that settling the case was in his best interest. It is in your best interest to cooperate with the investigation. Instead of. We had fish instead of chicken. He decided to walk instead of taking the bus. She chose to write a letter instead of sending an email. Into the unknown. The explorers ventured into the unknown, in the hope of finding some rare plant species. Launching a new business is like stepping into the unknown. Faced with a tough decision, she stepped into the unknown, trusting her instincts. Like a pro. He solved the complex math problem like a pro. She handled the negotiations like a pro, even though she was new to the job. With years of practice, she now plays the violin like a pro. Off the beaten path/track. We found a charming little restaurant off the beaten path. He prefers to travel off the beaten track rather than visit touristy spots. That hidden beach is really off the beaten path, but it's worth the trek. Off the cuff. He gave an off-the-cuff speech that impressed everyone. Her off-the-cuff remarks were surprisingly insightful. I didn't expect to speak, so I said a few words off the cuff. Off the grid. They decided to live off the grid in a remote cabin in the mountains. Going off the grid for a few weeks is a great way to unwind. He's not on social media, he prefers to stay off the grid. Off the hook. The new evidence got him off the hook for the crime he had been accused of. I thought I had to work this weekend, but my boss let me off the hook. She was supposed to clean the house, but her parents let her off the hook. Off the record. Just off the record, I heard the company is getting acquired soon. She told the journalist her opinion off the record. Can I speak to you off the record for a moment? Off the top of my head. I don't have the figures with me, but off the top of my head, sales are up by 15%. Off the top of my head, I'd say we need about 10 more volunteers. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I can get back to you with some names later. On a first-name basis. We're now on a first-name basis, which shows the progress in our client relationship. After working together for years, the team is on a first-name basis. It's a friendly town where everyone is on a first-name basis. On a hiding to nothing. You're on a hiding to nothing trying to explain the internet to grandma. They felt they were on a hiding to nothing with the project having no resources. Arguing with him is like being on a hiding to nothing, he never admits he's wrong. On a high note. She ended her career on a high note with that championship win. Let's finish the meeting on a high note and discuss our recent success. The concert finished on a high note, leaving the audience wanting more. On a knife edge. The election results are on a knife edge, with both the candidates neck and neck. Our team played on a knife edge, but we managed to win. The peace talks are on a knife edge, any wrong move may end them.